If you're currently taking a GLP-1 injection like Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, or you are considering taking one, then this is going to be the most important video you ever watch. So let's start with how these injections actually work. Well, it's pretty simple. They mimic a hormone that will suppress your appetite, meaning that you will feel less hungry, and they also help you feel more satisfied and more full after eating. They were originally designed for people with diabetes, but they are now popular when it comes to managing your weight. And I'm going to be honest, my opinion of them has changed dramatically. You see, my auntie died of diabetes when I was very young, and I was originally pretty pissed off that people were abusing a drug designed for diabetics to help them lose weight. But as the research has evolved and the use of them has become more popular, I've realised that they are here to stay. And rather than arguing whether people should use them, I've actually decided to help those that are going to use them inevitably, which is the whole point of this video. How should you properly use these injections if your goal is to lose weight and keep it off? Now, first things first, if you just want to use one of these injections as a shortcut to drop a few pounds, then please don't do that. If you're already at a healthy weight and you want to drop 5 to 10 pounds with a little bit more ease, then I don't think you're the right candidate for these injections. They should be for people who have a lot of weight to lose, who struggle with lots of food noise and severe binge eating. And when I say binge eating, I don't just mean that you occasionally overeat when you're out with friends, or it gets to Friday night and you have some ice cream and you overdo it on your calorie consumption. That is not binge eating, that is just emotional eating. And a lot of people throw away that word casually, like, oh, I just binge ate last night. No, you didn't. Binge eating is when food is the only thing you can think about. It's when you eat past the point of discomfort. It's when you know what you are doing is bad, but you just can't stop yourself. Food is your only vice. So now we've discussed who I think GLP-1 should be for, let's discuss how to use them properly and ensure that you actually keep the weight off. Now, what we're seeing is a lot of people gaining the weight back after using the injections. And the problem is not the drug itself, it's what's happening when you are on it. If you don't learn how to eat, move, and think differently, then of course you're going to go back to the habits that caused you to gain the weight before you took these injections. The second you stop taking them, you'll be right back to where you started. And this is exactly why I've recently done a new course that has allowed me to partner with GPs and the weight loss injection providers to support their clients. So one of the first issues that we see when people take the injections is that they don't eat enough. The appetite suppression of the drugs is quite powerful, so they just forget to eat throughout the day. So when they come off them, that habit remains, but they get to the evening, they feel absolutely starving, and the overeating is almost impossible to stop. And something else that we are seeing is when people don't feel that hungry, they just turn to stuff that comes from a packet, quick fixes, and ways to get calories in without needing to do too much preparation. And this means that they're having low quality foods with not many nutrients in them. And it's also causing their muscles to atrophy and their bone density to reduce. The goal shouldn't just be to eat as little as humanly possible. It should be to eat better. And this means well-structured meals that have enough protein, that have enough fiber, and that support your energy levels, your satiety, and critically muscle retention, especially if you are over the age of 40. And the next crucial element is the behavior change that's required to keep the weight off. GLP-1s can make sticking to a calorie deficit easier because you feel less hungry and you feel more satisfied from food. But they don't erase emotional eating. They don't address why you always turn to food when you are stressed. And they don't address why you keep self-sabotaging the second you get close to reaching your goal weight. Those habits, if not addressed, will still be there waiting to resurface the second you are done taking the injections. So this is why when I'm working with clients who are on these medications, we focus on habit building and behavior change. You have to be self-aware of what caused you to gain weight prior to being on these injections. And if you don't address why you overeat, then the weight is going to come back on. Another mistake, this is the all or nothing approach to weight loss. So many of you label certain foods as off limits, like chocolate, cake, crisps. But when you label something as bad, you just give it more power. Restriction leads to rebellion, right? If you tell a naughty child in a classroom to stop drawing on the tables, it is the only thing they are going to want to do. So the real skill is learning how to include the foods that you like into your diet. And you can do this in a way that aligns with your goals in a calorie-controlled manner. Let's say that you're going out for dinner. Maybe you skip the starter and the dessert, and you just go for the main. What you don't do is skip the meal altogether, because I imagine that at some point you are going to want to eat out with your loved ones again. But it also doesn't mean that you say screw it, eat everything in sight just because you've had one meal that might go slightly over your calorie allowance. And exercise is another non-negotiable. Rapid weight loss without strength training leads to muscle loss. And if you didn't already know, people with low levels of muscle mass have a slower metabolism, which means keeping the weight that you've lost off is going to be even more difficult. So if you are on a GLP-1 injection, then you have to be resistance training. Not only is it going to make you not look like a raisin and actually look toned, but it will help your bone density, it will help preserve that lean muscle tissue, and it will also prevent against injuries as you age. And then there's sleep, one of the most overlooked pillars of weight loss. Poor sleep will mess with your appetite control. It will make you more hungry, and it also lowers your inhibitions, making you more likely to hit the stop it button. Even on a GLP-1, if you're exhausted, you're going to be more likely to turn to energy-dense, ultra-processed foods to get you through the day. So this is the exact type of work that I do with my clients who are on the GLP-1s. We help them understand their triggers, we help them structure their meals, we help them navigate social situations and build the skills that they actually need to keep the weight off for good. Because these aren't a magic fix. They may help you lose the weight with more ease, but unless you want to be paying £200+ per month for the rest of your life to keep the weight off, then you have to learn how to manage the weight. So ask yourself, am I learning? And am I building the habits that will help me maintain this weight loss for good? Because if not, then you're setting yourself up to start this whole cycle again. So if this is something that you want my help with, head to fatlossfundamentals.co.uk and let's see what I can do for you.